Does the government work for us or do we work for the government? Tonight, the triumph of human freedom over the state. Yesterday, we discussed how the British Parliament once honestly and seriously debated whether the king was above the rule of law or the rule of law was above the king. An issue on its face today comical, yet gravely serious then and now, because it touches on the fabric of society. Kings asserted their rule as a divine right and claimed that their authority came from God the Father or from some pagan gods. The individual had no place in this, except as a subject to the king. The modern-day king is the state. When I talk about the state, I'm talking about government generally, not one of America's 50 states. The state and the individual are bound to stand against each other, even when the state claims the consent of the governed, because the individual has an immortal soul created with natural rights by God, and the state is a human creation based on obedience and force. Humanity is the incarnation of freedom, and the state is the negation of freedom. The Greek philosopher Socrates was executed by the Athenian state because, quote, he does not believe in the gods of the state, closed quote. From the very beginning, the state claimed the power to kill people who disagreed with it. Does that sound familiar? It should. Today, President Obama claims the power to kill Americans who've not been charged or convicted of any crime and are not killing anyone. They're just speaking what the state doesn't want you to hear. The Athenian state executed Socrates because he questioned the way things were. He challenged the status quo and the rotting political structure around him. Today, the Tea Party as well is vilified for questioning the way things are, for challenging the status quo and the rotting political structure around us. The idea that the state derives its authority from God, but not from God, but the consent of the governed, was the revolutionary concept which the Founding Fathers imbued in America. This revolutionary element embedded in the Constitution has allowed America to grow and prosper and to become more free. But growth and prosperity requires restraint on the part of the state. Today, the state has grown far outside the confines of the Constitution, and as it has, the people it governs have become less prosperous and less free. Today, your individuality is under attack from the state. The state borrows money in your children's names. The state hires police to enforce thousands of laws that criminalize consensual, nonviolent behavior and make every person in America a potential criminal. The state claims the right to break down doors of homes on the basis of what its police think their dogs can smell coming from inside the home. Here in New York City, you can't smoke a cigarette in the park. You can't sell food cooked at home outside of a truck. You can't hold a small rally on a street corner. And by 2014, everywhere in America, your very status as a law-abiding person may be contingent on your purchase of government-approved health insurance. The Founding Fathers would be rolling in their graves, yet President Obama claims criticism of Obamacare is an example of extremism. Obamacare itself is an act of extremism and is the largest legislative abrogation of our personal freedoms since the Patriot Act. Obamacare and the Patriot Act are opposite sides of the same coin. Think about it. The Patriot Act lets the state, under the guise of keeping you safe, take away your natural rights to privacy, to free speech, and to fairness from the government. And Obamacare lets the state, under the guise of keeping you healthy, tell you how to live and what to buy and what to eat. This just shows how wrong the state can be. If you read the Constitution, you'll see that the principal job of the president, the head of the state, is to keep us free. If he keeps us safe and if he keeps us healthy but not free, he's not doing his job and he should be replaced. The default position should not be the state's power. It should be the freedom of every person. That is the 180-degree trip we have taken from the divine right of kings. So the great issue of our day is, do we still possess freedom, or are we going back to the omnipotent state? The regrettable answer to that question is obvious. That's why we at Freedom Watch defend personal freedom here every night, on the popular issues and on the unpopular ones. On a personal note,